COVID-19 pandemic had a significant impact on every aspect of life, including how people shop. The sudden boom in e-commerce left retailers with logistic delivery challenges due to the surge in orders to cope with the drastic growth. Leading bike-hailing service Gokada, which was banned from commercial transport operations to diversify into the logistics business. The company is fast becoming Nigeria's leading last-mile delivery and logistics service in a sector expected to grow about 11% by 2025. Joining us now to speak on how digitally enabled last-mile delivery impacts e-commerce growth in Nigeria is the CEO of Gokada, NIKHIL. Welcome, NIKHIL.
Thank you for having me here.
It's our pleasure. Welcome to Arise Morning Show. Tell us, NIKHIL, how has it been since last year? And I know that there were issues as to, when Gokada entered the Nigerian market. You couldn't deal in what you wanted to, go into, the Okada business. And then the unfortunate incident of the murder of your, former CEO. How has it been, transitioning from that unfortunate incident of last year during the pandemic, to the e-commerce business now? Tell us, how has it been so far?
Sure. So if I look at it, right, so this Gokada was kind of a dream, right? It was a vision of the change that can be brought to people's lives. That means the change in lives of the riders that are there. It means change in lives of the businesses or the customers that are there. How can it be better? So yeah, it started off back in, last year was a tough one because it started off with the ban in January 2020 of the ride-hailing ban, with the first ride-hailing company that started off after the other companies came in. So from that time, after the ban, we had to start pivoting towards deliveries. And we were growing. In pandemic, last mile delivery became kind of a necessity. So we were looking at how to focus on the right kind of things we can focus for the customers. How can we provide them deliveries on food, groceries, medicines, the essentials that are required. And as we were growing last year, the same month, we lost Fahim, who's the founder. At the same time, his ideals, the vision he had for the company, the way he had built the company, we didn't want to give up. No one in the company wanted to give up. We wanted to look at how can we still growing it? How can we still make impact in all those riders? And as from that time, we have grown to be able to create jobs for 1,000+ riders in Gokada. We have been able to make impact for tens of thousands of merchants across Lagos. And we completed deliveries. The idea has been how do we fit ourselves into the space, and how do we keep on moving every step? How do we stay focused, and how we make sure that we provide the quality that people need in here? Those have been the driving factors for us going so far. And I think even in the future, they will be. I think we have that attitude that we say that never, we cannot give up. We will not give up. So those are the key components that have been for us.
Indeed, NIKHIL, your optimism is well noted. So specifically, logistics service and last mile delivery sector is expected to grow about 11% by 2025. How did this come about, you think, and what is fueling this optimism?
Right. So if you look at the changes that have happened, there were lots of businesses that were lost. What made a change is people's tendencies towards buying services from the pandemic have made a huge change. Before last year, the delivery market was not growing as fast as it has been growing recently. So during pandemic, people realized that how they have to now figure out options through which goods can be delivered to them instead of them going to those goods all the time. That fueled with the growth in the fintech space, the finance segment. That fueled with how entries of products and services have been happening. So if you look at food is kind of a necessity. There have been lots of vendors coming up, whether they are home cooks, whether they are restaurants. How can we connect those restaurants or people directly to the customers? That's one part of it. If you look at medicines, how that has become a necessity, that how people want easy access to all these services at all points of time. So all these things combined, along with the development in the tech sector, right? So tech has been booming across Nigeria. So these things, the market that's sitting out there has been opening up daily, weekly. So that's what gonna fuel in the coming times on how the market will keep expanding. So the market is looking at, let's say, if you look at 2025 or 2027, Nigerian market is going to be on e-commerce around 20-30 billion dollars. It's not a small size at all, considering the number of people that are here, the access to technology, the access to smartphones, the access to finances. All of this will fuel towards people's growth, towards the growth of the sector.
That's good. And jobs have also been created, because I recall last year that, one of the major concerns of Gokada was that, listen, we can't, allow jobs to be lost. But from what you are saying now, and from the projections that we're seeing, it looks like, good times are going to come. For people working with you, for your staff, in spite of the fact that, yes, there's competition everywhere. And I believe that competition will also mean that more people are coming into that space. What's the next 1, 2, 3 years like in terms of job creation?
Good. So before the ban started off, we had close to 1,000 riders on the road. But as the transition started happening, we started growing in terms of the riders as we moved into delivery. At this point of time, I think we feel also proud that we have been able to create jobs for, again, back to more than 1,000 of our riders back on the street. It means that we were able to bring back all the riders that we had. It also means that we're able to create impact for the SMEs that are there. What we have seen in delivery space is that as we grew, our SMEs also grew in the businesses 2 to 3x. Like the kind of deliveries they were doing, that volume has also gone. So again, we are looking at the same trend continuing forward. If you're making an impact in thousands of these riders, going into the future, how can we make an impact for hundreds of thousands of these riders? How can we go and create the change for millions of people who are getting access to easy food, like medicines, groceries, e-commerce segment, in which we can get them things delivered to their houses in the seamless manner possible. That will mean a huge flow of money from between the segments that will actually grow the entire segment itself. When people have access to more medicines, groceries, that will mean even more of these competitions have to come. And competition, from what I've seen, has actually helped grow the economy. Like, it's always healthy competition that will help fuel the economy and make sure that things are actually moving for better. At the end, the consumers and the riders are going to benefit out of it.
Indeed, Nikhil, still talking about the issue of competition. So how have you fared in your type of business, and what stands you out from others?
So for us, it has been, how do we focus on the customers and our riders, right? The difference for us has been, instead of just trying to create any kind of business, how do we make sure that we carry the people who work with us, the riders who work with us, along with us? At the same time, how do we make sure that we use technology as the center point to keep fueling that? So what we did was, we looked at what are the gaps that are missing in the market, and instead of doing all kind of deliveries, we just let's focus on instant delivery, or the last mile delivery that we have been doing. What helped us do was, customers realized that, hey, I don't want to wait for a couple of hours or the entire day for my goods to be delivered. When Gokada can help me deliver it instantly, we tried to provide a model in which, instead of them waiting for or trying to call different riders, how can they get a rider which is closest to them? They can track the rider. They can make sure the things get delivered in a safe manner. We provide them the safety. Like, they don't have to worry after the goods have been picked up. We ensure that we have the right kind of licenses. We have ensured that we have following every single government regulation to make sure that for a customer, it becomes easy, right? So that's how it made the entire change. Instead of going after too many different things, we just looked at the basics. The basics included, let's make sure that we are 100% regulated. Let's make sure that our customers, we keep the customer-centric approach, and let's look at what are the kind of problems they're facing. Let's use technology to solve that instead of just figuring out, because that's how you scale. We looked at, if at the end, it's not me who is going to provide them the service, it's my riders who are going to be on the road and provide them services. How can we make sure that those guys are properly taken care of? And that's what fuels us. That's what makes us change, like, compared to any other player out there.
That's very well said. But let me know your thoughts as to how the business has been running in Lagos in terms of the very basics that you spoke about, especially in the area of the food delivery, which is huge, which is growing, these days. But I notice, and a lot of people do complain about it, a number of estates around town do mount roadblocks, do close at a particular hour, issues about safety, etc. How have you, navigated around these little bottlenecks here and there, especially in the evenings and late evenings, if you are indeed, high up there in the food delivery business? How has it been so far?
So food plays a major segment for us in terms of the deliveries that we do. So for us, it's all about creating that confidence, creating that kind of trust within the customers. And so I remember the first time we moved into deliveries, people were still having a question of, Gokada is going into deliveries, what's going to happen, how safe and all. But I think it's more about the kind of work that we do that shows the customer the confidence, and also the way our riders treat the people in the estates, the way they go about talking to the customer, the way they go about talking to security guards. The customer are also in the say that if I know who's the rider, if I know which person is coming, they can easily channel that in the right way. And the time they start seeing those Gokada riders properly dressed up, knowing that, hey, this is the right person from the company, this gives them more confidence to open up the doors and be like, okay, you know what? This is the person I can trust who can deliver it. Because at the same time, it's not about just trusting one rider or the other. It's trusting the brand. It's trusting Gokada, what we have been doing. And as you mentioned, evenings are not easy. Right? So we also made sure that we have a setup. We have a time after which we even don't allow our riders to be on the road. As per the government rule, after 10 p.m. the bikes are not allowed on the highways. So what we make sure that we also want to ensure the safety of our riders. So at certain point, we will make sure that they don't get the orders, so they can also reach back home and be safe out there. So it's all that safety allowed. Our customers have also been helpful in terms of if we are making the deliveries, they will inform the securities that hey, Gokada is going to come in X amount of time. Please let him in so that he can deliver and go back home. So it's creating that confidence and the trust with the customers that helps us get on top of these issues.
All right, Nikhil, interesting perspective there, and it's also key when it comes to issues of security. Now, earlier on, you talked about government regulation. In business such as yours, are you getting the enabling environment to thrive? The market is already there, no doubt, in terms of a huge population for logistics needs. So I'd like you to take this within 2 minutes, please.
For sure. So the difference between what we are doing in ride hailing and the delivery is that delivery is a fully regulated business. That means government has put in licenses in place to make sure that if any company abide by those rules, they can run a courier and logistic company across. So what we did was, when we started making the change, we realized let's follow all the due processes so that we are 100% licensed. We can have all the regulations that are required. So as per the government rule, we need to have 200cc bikes to ply across major highways and roads. Gokada always has those bikes. We needed to make sure we have the licenses in place. We needed to make sure that we have the government permissions in place. We ensure that we follow every due process so that we have all clarity. So we have the NIKHIL license that allows us as a regulated courier and delivery company across Nigeria, not just Lagos. So we can run as a courier company across Nigeria. So the government has been making regulations to make it easy. And we have been also trying to see how can, in future, if we have to look at options, it's not a roadblock. We follow the process, so it becomes easy for our riders also, because now the authorities on the road also know that the government is following all the due process. The Gokada is following all the due processes. If Gokada is following all the due processes and making sure that how we are communicating with the agencies, it becomes easy.
Indeed, NIKHIL GOEL, on that note, CEO of Gokada, many thanks for your thoughts on last mile delivery and, of course, e-commerce. Good to have you.